Hi everyone, welcome to week 3 of Pilates. So this week we're going to start off standing and we're going to do, or try and do, a fair bit of single leg stuff. Really good for core, glutes, really good for runners. So if you're feeling a bit wobbly, there will be an easier version, an easier option to the single leg stuff, or stand next to a wall just so that you've got that little bit of support to try and get the best out of the exercises. Then we're going to come down onto the mat and do some kind of easily translatable to CrossFit kind of hollow hold type stuff. As always, this is your practice, so listen to your body. If we do a variation of something that feels too hard, scale it back, make it a little bit easier, choose the easier version, because I want the quality of the movements, not the quantity. I don't want you to try and think I'm going to go do the hardest option because, you know, I'm hard. I want you to do the option that's appropriate for you, because then you can always revisit the video, do the harder version when you're ready to, because you'll get the most benefits that way, basically. So we'll get started, and I want to start standing. So I'm going to start front on, but then turn, just so we can start our setup. So we're going to start feet together, turn your toes out, turn your heels out. Then, like we've done before, I want your index fingers on the bony bits on the front of your hips, wrap your thumbs around, and we're going to imagine that your pelvis is a bucket full of water, and you're going to tip some water out the front and out of the back, out of the front and out of the back. So if we turn sideways, we're arching and we're hollowing, arching and hollowing. And then I want you to imagine that your bucket is really full, and find that middle point where if you're not going to be able to tip any water out of the front or your back, so that's your neutral pelvis. Tummy slightly switched on here, tummy button pull back to your spine slightly to hold yourself in this position. Glutes are probably a little bit switched on as well. Now from here, I want you to keep this position. I want you to keep your hips stacked over your knees, stacked over your ankles. We're going to stay really long in our tailbone. And we're going to do a forward fold. So we're not doing the roll down like we've done before. We're going to stay stacked and we're hinging forwards. So you might feel more weight through the front of your toes, and then you're going to come back up again. So we're aiming to keep our side body nice and long. A really nice feedback is to put your thumb on your bottom ribs, index fingers on the bony bits on the front, and that gap should stay the same as you come forward. And then you're going to squeeze your bottom muscles to stand up nice and tall. You might need your knees a little bit softer if you've got tight hamstrings. We're coming forwards and back. We're just waking up our core and our posterior chain. So we're coming forwards, trying not to push our bottom back, trying to keep everything nice and vertical here. And come back up again. We're going to do one more. Come forwards, keep that chin tucked. So we're following down to the floor and back up again. Lovely. And then keeping this nice neutral pelvis, keeping our hips level as we do this, we're going to step back into a lunge and then come to stand. Step back and come to stand. I'm going to turn around so you can see. I want to keep these hips level and back. Remembering that we're on tram lines. I don't want you to dip your hips, I want to stay level. So we're staying level. And back up. And we're going to come side again. Then this time we're going to come back. And we're going to pulse up and down. Up, down, up, down, up, down. 2 more. 1, 2. One more for good luck. Can't count. Step forwards. Same on the other leg. Remember to keep those hips nice and level. Step back, down, down, hips level, toe button pull back towards your spine, spine's nice and neutral. 2 more, down, and then stand. Now we're going to go into some single leg stuff, just a little bit of a quick warm up for your legs there. So now we're going to do some single leg deadlifts, obviously no weights. Your standing leg, you can keep that knee as soft as you like. A lot of it will depend on the tightness in your hamstrings. You can also, rather than lifting and coming into a full, we can keep that back leg on the floor. So we're doing more of that forward fold. But like we did with our forward fold, I want to keep our back and our sacrum nice and long, so our tailbone stays nice and long, so we're not collapsing or rounding, everything's staying nice and straight. So, hands on your hips to start off with, and we're just going to come forward and float that leg. And I want to hold it there. So we're balancing on this leg, feeling your hamstrings activating, feeling your glutes activating. I want you to stay square to the floor, so you're not twisting, we're square to the floor. This back leg could be down on the floor if you need, or you could be holding onto a wall for support. Tummy buttons pull back towards your spine. And then we're going to come and stand. We're going to keep doing this leg, but we're going to repeatedly come down and up, down and up. If you want to have your hands in front, you can do. Down and up. I'm just going to turn here so you can see we're staying level. Ooh, and a bit wobbly. Staying level. So we're not coming down and twisting at our hips. We're trying to stay as level as possible. Keep going. 3 more. 2. 3. And then come to stand. Swap sides. So we're going to do the hold first. So we're going to come into our position here. Now, there is a yoga pose name for this. Can't remember what it is. Probably some sort of warrior. Flying warrior. I don't know. I'm not a yogi. So holding here. Again, that back leg could be down, but we're just holding. Firing up our posterior chain here, so your glutes should start feeling like they're switched on. Now we're going to do our reps. So you can keep your hands on your hips, or, so we do them whoop, wobbly, serial wobble. So we can either come forwards with our hands on our hips, or you can have your hands down, but again, making sure that your hips stay level. I want you to try and keep that chin a little bit tucked as well, so we're not kind of looking forward too much as we come down. You'll find it's easier to balance if you're focusing on something, maybe the front edge of your mat. Keeping that tummy button pulled back towards your spine. 2 more. 1, 2, and stand. Going to go back to a hold this time. We're going to play around with our arm position. So swap legs again, and we're going to come forward into our hold. So we know we can have our arms down here. You can have your arms out to the side. This is like a flying warrior or an aeroplane or something. Or you can bring your arms alongside your ears. If you're doing this with your arms alongside your ears, I want you to imagine someone's trying to pull your hands away. But we're not shrugging our shoulders up to our ears. Our shoulder blades are still down our back. We're trying to reach our arms nice and long. Likewise with this leg behind us, trying to reach it nice and long. You could also be here if you need to. Stay with it. A few more seconds. If you wobble, don't worry about it. You've seen me wobble. And then arms down and stand. Shake off, we're going to do the other side. So again, we're going to come forwards. Remember this standing leg, bend that knee any amount you need. Keep that back leg nice and long, tailbone stays nice and long, tummy buttons pull back towards your spine. Let's try arms out to the side. And then let's try arms above our head. And hold it there. Hold it there. Remember to keep your shoulder blades away from your ears. Hold there. Hold. Then hands to hips and stand. We've got one more thing to do in this position. So, back onto that first leg. We're going to come down here. And again, arm position where you want. You can have them out in front, down to the side, or on your hips. And this back leg, we're just going to float. Lift it up. Lift. So we're really squeezing those bottom muscles. Again, if your foot's down for balance, we're just tapping the toe on the floor. Or we're here. Keeping that tummy button pulled back towards your spine. tailbone nice and long. 1, keep going. 2, keep going. 3, and stand. Swap legs. So again, we start here. We float that leg behind, or have that foot on the floor. Float it behind, tailbone nice and long, tummy button pull back towards your spine. And pulse. Feel that bottom squeeze. Feel. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Or you could be here, tapping your toe. We're here. 1, 2, 3, and stand. Okay, now we're going to give your legs a shake. My glutes are a little bit on fire now. So from here, now we're going to do our roll down, which we've done in a previous video. So hands, arms nice and relaxed in front of your body. We're going to tuck that chin, chin comes to chest. And then we're going to unravel our spine, so round those shoulders, round that upper back. Keep that bottom stacked above your feet, so you're not pushing it backwards. Come down just as far as you need to. You can have your knees nice and soft. Feel a bit of a stretch in your hamstring. When you've reached the bottom, you're going to tuck your tailbone underneath, squeeze those bottom muscles. Remembering, try not to push that bottom back, and stack, bone on top of bone. Nice and slow. Stacking that spine, chin stays tucked right till the last minute. One more of those, chin down to chest. Round those shoulders. Round those shoulders and unravel that spine. This is all about that body awareness and trying to get that segmental movement coming down nice and slow. When you've reached the bottom, we're going to hang out here for a sec. You can take hold of opposite elbow and just let gravity, feel that traction. Gravity's pulling your neck and your arms and your upper back down towards the floor. Nice little bit of a stretch there. Then hands come down, and again, squeeze those bottom muscles, tuck that tailbone underneath, use your tummy button, your tummy muscles to tuck, really tuck underneath so we don't push that bottom back. And come all the way up to stand. Lovely. We're going to do one more of those. We're going to cross our feet. So we're going to have our feet crossed here. If your balance is a bit funny, don't worry about it. There is a reason for this. So you're going to, again, we're going to roll down, tuck, and roll all the way down. And then whichever leg, foot is in front, we're going to walk to the opposite side. So my right foot is my front foot, my front leg. So I'm going to walk my hands round to the left, using my fingertips to pull me a little bit more. So we're getting a bit of a stretch around here. And our lower back, really trying to pull. Remember to bend those knees any amount you need possible. And then you're going to come back to the middle. And we're going to roll up and swap sides. Up we go. And then swap legs. So your other leg comes in front. Tuck that chin. Roll down. Roll down. So the other leg's in front. So we're going to walk our fingertips over to the other side. Remember to bend those knees any amount you need possible. And hold. Use your fingertips to pull you around and twist. And then come back to the middle. And then we're going to roll all the way up again. Roll, 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 roll. Lovely. Okay. We're going to do one more roll down, but we're going to roll into a plank. So, tuck that chin. Come all the way down. Roll, 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 roll. Lovely. Then we're going to walk our hands out like an inchworm to high plank. Then I want you to come down onto your forearms. Now in this position, we're going to do some hip dips. So you can be on your knees to do this if you're struggling with a full plank. But what we're going to do is roll onto the outside and inside of one side of our feet and drop our hips down to one side. Then come back to the middle and drop them down to the other side. Then back to the middle and down to the other side. Back to the middle, down to the other side. Back to the middle. Like I say, you could be doing this on your knees. So you're rolling onto the outside of one thigh. Still a little bit of nice Rotatory control, rolling from side to side. Lovely. And the other side. One more to each side. And the other one. Back up. And then we're going to lower all the way down. I'm just going to shuffle back so you can see. And we're going to have our hands down by our side. I'm going to have my head off, but what I actually want you to do is your forehead down onto the floor. I'm not going to do that because you won't be able to hear me. And from here, we're just going to practice lifting our arms up and setting our shoulder blades. So what you're trying to do is roll your shoulders back, squeeze your shoulder blades together. And down. Roll your shoulder blades back and squeeze together. And down. Roll and squeeze. So we're getting a little bit of opening across the front of the chest. Just a little bit. And up. And down. And then we can take this a little bit further. And we can roll our shoulder blades off. And then we can lift. And we can lower. And then we roll our shoulder blades up, lift our hands, and lift. As high as you can, making sure you're trying to keep your tailbone nice and long. And down. Roll your shoulder blades back, lift your chest. And down. And again, roll back, and lift. And down. One more. Roll your shoulder blades, lift your hands, lift your chest. And come down. Okay, now we're going to climb back into our plank. You might want to interlace your fingers at the front on this one. So we're here. You could be here if you want to. It's one of my favourite moves. Not. Holding here. We're going to push forward and do a mini press up as if we're dipping our beak into some water and then come back to plank. We're going to come forward and dip and back to plank. And again, come forward and dip and back to plank. And again, forward and dip and back to plank. Two more. Forwards and dip and back. Last one. Forwards and dip and back. And then lower. Okay, hands back down by your sides. So again, we're gonna roll our shoulder blades, lift our hands, lift our chest. We're gonna hold this position. And then we're gonna lift one leg and lift the other leg. With your legs lifted, I want you still imagining you're trying to push, someone's trying to pull your feet off. So we're in this position, which I think in yoga is called locust. Nice name. And we're just going to hold. And then we're going to lower our legs, lower everything down. We're going to do it again. We're going to roll those shoulder blades back, lift those hands, and lift. And then hold it. Then lower those feet, hands, chest. One more time. Roll those shoulder blades back, lift your hands, lift your chest, lift your legs. Right. Squeezing our glutes. Trying to stretch our hands down towards our feet, and our feet are really far away from us. Hold it there. And then come down. And then we're going to climb back into our forearm plank. Again, interlace your fingers if you need to, tuck your toes, come up into plank. As I said before, you can be down on your knees if you need to. We're going to do some more of our lovely mini push-ups, as if we're dipping our beak into water. And back up. And again, dip. And back up. Like I say, knees down version, dip. Back up. And dip. And back up. And again, dip. Back up. Two more. Dip. Back up. One more. Dip. And back up. Drop your knees, lower everything down. Now we're going to do a little bit more on our arch position. So you can, if you found hands down by your side was enough for you, keep them there, or you can take your arms out in front of you so they're alongside your ears. I want you to think about keeping your arms alongside your ears as opposed to taking them wide. Try and squeeze them towards your ears when we lift. Okay, I also still want you thinking about keeping your shoulder blades away from your ears. So just because our arms are overhead doesn't mean our shoulders shrug up. Okay, we're keeping them down. This is what we're going to be able to transfer really nicely into gymnastics. So from here, we're going to lift up arms and legs. And we're going to hold. Hold it there. Hold it there. Hold it there. And then come down. We're going to do 2 more times. So remember to keep those shoulders away from your ears, shoulder blades down your back. So we're going to lift. We're going to hold. Hold it there. Hold it there. Hold it there. And come down. Lovely. Do 1 more of those. So again, come up and lift. 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 Lift and lower down. Lovely. Okay, now we're going to come onto our back. So, given we've just done arch, we're now going to do some hollow hold. So, we're going to repeat it a couple of times, and I want you to do whatever variation feels right for you. So, as always, hands down by your side, lift your hands off the floor. Pull your hands down towards your feet, so shoulder blades are off the floor. Now we're going to lift one knee, lift the other knee. Now for you today, this might be enough. This might be where you want to stay, which is absolutely fine. You can just hold and breathe here. Or you could try taking one arm so it's alongside your ear and bring it back down. And the other arm. See how it feels. And bring it back down. You could take a leg away. See what that feels like. Bring that leg back. Take the other leg away. See what that feels like. You could take both arms overhead and the leg away. Change legs. See how that feels. You could take arms and legs away. Or you could have arms here and take both legs away. Whatever feels right for you today. And this is your practice. And then we're going to bring everything back in and lower it all down. I know it's take 3 really nice big deep breaths again. Really fill your lungs and blow it all out. We're going to do our hollow holds again. So you can either move through different variations, or you can find a variation that you want to work on and stick with it. So again, we're going to pull our hands and down towards our feet, lifting our shoulder blades off the floor. And we're going to come into our tuck position. And again, have a play around. See where you want to be today. You could do opposite arm and leg. Both arms. You can move through them. Do same on one side. Or you could just do both legs. One arm. Other arm. Hold it there. Hold it there. And then wherever you are, come back to tuck. And bring everything back down. Now this time, we're going to work a little bit on a twist. So, we're going to struggle a bit more to do our arms. What I want you to do is pop your hand behind your head. And rather than lifting both shoulder blades off, we're just going to twist and lift one. So my right arm's behind my head, my right shoulder blade is off. Both sides of my waist are the same length. So I've not shortened down on one side. They're both nice and long. Then I'm going to float this arm up and I'm going to come into a tuck position. So we're like in a twisted tuck. We're trying to work a little bit more on our rotation now. So from this position again, take opposite leg away and then just hold. So one leg stays in that tuck position, this leg has come out. So we're trying to get those right ribs down towards that left hip, really squeezing, feeling those obliques working. This leg is nice and long, we're just holding. This arm here isn't pulling on your head, it's just there for a little bit of support. Hold, 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 lovely. And then bring that leg back in, arm back down, swap sides. Other hand comes behind your head, and then we twist. And then whichever arm is behind your head, you take the other leg away. So we're trying to get those, mine's my left now, trying to get left ribs down to right hip. Really squeezing. Both sides of my waist are nice and long. And we're just holding. Holding there. Hold. Stay there. Keep holding. Hold. Hold. Come back to the middle and lower down. Lower those feet down. 3 nice big deep breaths. Now we're going to do that again. We're going to do a slightly different variation. It's the last thing we're going to do before we do a couple of stretches. So you can either stick with what we were just doing, or we're going to go on to a little bit more of a dynamic version. So back to that first side. Right hand behind your head. Twist, lift that right shoulder blade off. Bring both legs up into that tucked position. You can have your right foot down on the floor for this if you want to. And this left leg, I'm going to take away. But then I'm going to bring it up and down. And I'm going to bring it up and down and up. You can, like I said, you can have your right foot on the floor to do this. Or we can stay in kind of a bit of a twisted tuck, down and up. 2 more. 1. Last one. 2. And up. Bring that leg back down, arm back down. Other hand behind your head. And then we're going to take, no we're not. We're going to lift that left shoulder blade up, so twist. Both sides of your waist are nice and long. We're going to take that right leg away from us. And then we're going to lift it up. And down. And up. And down. Up. And down. Again, you can have your left foot planted here if you want to. Or we can stay with that leg up. Keep going. 2 more, down and up. 1 more, down and up. Bend, relax. Whew. Okay, a couple of stretches. Right ankle is going to come on top of your left knee. Now, depending on what you feel like your body needs today, you can stay in this position, put your right hand on your right knee and push away, and you'll get a bit more of a stretch kind of front of your right hip. Or you can clasp around the back of your left thigh and pull in towards you. And maybe rock a little bit side to side, because it will change where you feel the stretch in your right glutes. Rocking side to side. Lovely. And then we're going to unravel. And we're going to swap sides. That one then, left ankle comes on top of right knee. And again, you can stay here. Push that down and get more of a stretch on the left here. Or interlace your hands behind your right thigh, pull towards you, and again rock. Just so you change the stretch on your glutes a little bit. You should feel it moving across your left glutes. Stretching a different place as you rock. Lovely. And then we're going to unravel. I want you to plant both feet flat on the floor, and I want you to zip your legs together. And then your arms come out into a T shape. And we're just going to drop all the way down to one side. So we're trying to get a really nice stretch across that top side of your body. So when we've been doing our oblique work and we're twisting, we're now trying to unravel, twist the other way. And I want you to take 3 really nice big deep breaths here, really trying to fill that top lung. And then sigh it all out. And again. One more. Lovely. Come back to the middle. And then we're going to go down to the other side. And again, that top waist is where you should feel a really nice big deep stretch. Try and keep your shoulders flat on the mat. What you might find is when you twist to one side, that shoulder wants to come off. Really try and keep that shoulder down. Same thing here. 3 nice big deep breaths to really fill that top lung. And one more. Bring your knees back to the middle. And then we're just going to roll over. We're going to finish with a child's pose. So big toes together, knees nice and wide, about the width of your mat. Sink your heels, your bottom down towards your heels. Reach those arms away. Forehead down on the mat. And 3 really, really big deep breaths to try and fill the back of your lungs. One more. And there you go. And we're done. Thank you everybody for joining us, and I'll see you again next week. Bye.